What does the future hold for Detroit Public School students? A good case can be made that the answer rests in its foundation. Today on Spotlight, an in-depth look at the DPS Foundation. What's the mission of this organization, and how does it differ from the Detroit Public Schools? Is the foundation helping to improve education in Michigan's largest school system? And where exactly is the foundation headed? Our guest, Chacona Johnson, President and CEO of the DPS Foundation, Alycia Meriwether, Interim Director of the DPS Math and Science Center, and Willie McAlister, Director of DPS Fine Arts Education. It's Sunday, May the 29th. I'm Chuck Stokes, and this is Spotlight. The mission of the Detroit Public Schools Foundation, our topic today on Spotlight. Welcome to Spotlight. It's a pleasure having all three of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me begin with you, Chacona Johnson. You're President and CEO of the Detroit Public Schools Foundation. What's the mission, what's the role, and how does that differ from Detroit Public Schools, which, because of all the controversy, I think is an obvious question that people want to know.
Absolutely. We are separate from Detroit Public Schools. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. And our purpose is to raise money for DPS and for the benefit of the students, to provide enhancement programs and opportunities they would not have under DPS's budget.
Take me back just a little bit.
Sure.
Although it's getting a lot of attention now, DPS Foundation has actually been around for a few years, but just now really sort of getting
Absolutely.
its steam, right?
It was incorporated in 2002, and it was incorporated by 3 local attorneys and moved forward, but there was never staff. And so it was dormant a bit for a while. There was a small amount of funds, but in October of 2009, I came on board as the president and CEO and has built a staff. And the whole purpose is to make sure that we're out raising money to really help the students of Detroit Public Schools.
How much money have you raised so far?
Since October of 2009, we've raised over $3 million.
All right, and putting all that money to good use?
We're putting that money to good use.
Right.
We have wonderful programs that we're excited about, and we continue to develop them.
List off some of what you consider your major accomplishments since taking over DPS Foundation.
Well, we are very thrilled with one of our initial programs with the PNC Bank, which is our early childhood education program. It's over a $2.1 million program that supports pre-K students, getting an early start. We all know how important it is to learn early on with young minds and to come to school prepared to learn. So we have discovered, and PNC Bank has invested to make sure that our kids get off to a good start. And they are in 7 schools, 12 classrooms. And we've just completed our first year of that. We had an event last week with 192 students and their parents, the teachers and the principals. And the results that they have seen with the students is incredible. They are now ready to learn. They actually started in the summer at 3 years old.
Wow.
And they are very prepared to go into kindergarten, and we think they will do extremely well.
And getting that early start makes all the difference in the world.
Absolutely.
Alycia Meriwether, you're involved with math and science in the Detroit Public Schools. How does this tie into the foundation?
Well, the DPS Foundation has been an incredible advocate, and I just want to say thank you, first of all, to the DPS Foundation in terms of their support to the STEM fields. And so we've been trying to focus.
When you say STEM fields, so the audience can keep up with you, what does that mean?
So STEM is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Okay.
So we have had an increased focus on those areas, and the DPS Foundation was willing to partner with us to remove some barriers that normally would prevent our students from participating. So, for example, the DPS Foundation paid affiliation fees for our schools to participate in the Metro Detroit Science and Engineering Fair. They paid for us to have more students participate in the Future City competition, which is an awesome experience. The students this year, the focus was redesigning the city of Detroit.
Right.
So for all DPS students who participated, they actually were able to design a 3-dimensional model of what Detroit should look like or what they'd like it to look like in the future.
From their perspective.
From their perspective. They created a computer-generated model. They had to write a paper, and they had to defend their project. And so the DPS Foundation provided the buses to get the students to the competition. So the students put all of these hours into preparing their project, but if they had not been able to get to the competition, they wouldn't have been able to share.
Because all of this costs money and costs funds, whether it's transportation, it's enrollment fees, et cetera. And that's certainly something that you've gotten help from the foundation from, right?
Correct, and we are so grateful. And the students who participated were also able to participate in a symposium, and their ideas were synthesized into a white paper that was contributed to the City Council and the Mayor's office, and they were able to actually present their thoughts to both of those entities. So through the foundation support, that really empowered the students of Detroit to have a voice in what Detroit should look like in the future. So we have some future engineers, we have some future scientists who are being encouraged because of the support of the DPS Foundation.
Okay. Willie McAlister, let me get you into this conversation, and we'll begin with you. We'll get to a commercial break in just a little bit, and we'll pick back up some more. But briefly, just to whet our appetite, how are you participating with the Detroit Public Schools Foundation? Because I know that your special interest is the fine and performing arts.
Yes, well, the foundation has provided a platform and funding for us to reinvent the All-City Marching Band. And the marching band is a piece that would encompass all of the high schools in the city of Detroit. As we're aware now, there is 10 high schools.
The marching band had sort of gone to the wayside?
Well, at the All-City Band did. It ceased to exist about 4 years ago because of lack of funding. The DPS Foundation has reinstituted that funding for it. And so the band will start again on the 23rd of June. Audition starts, will run through the summer. It is our expectations to do a major bowl game sometime between the end of this year and the first of next year.
All right, very good. We're going to pick up. I know that you're doing a lot more than that. We'll talk about that in just a second. We're going to rush to a commercial break. When we come back, we'll talk to them about what else they're doing with the Detroit Public Schools Foundation, as well as what they're doing with their individual academic areas. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Willie McAlister, how important are the fine and performing arts in terms of the overall academic education in developing Detroit Public Schools students, or students anywhere?
The fine and performing arts plays a major role in the development of students. To develop the complete child, you have to have arts in their life, because it deals with the creative side of the brain, the creativity, the discipline, the working together as a team. All these things come into play. Things can be achieved through other disciplines, but the arts seems to have a way to really, really tie it in. Most of what the arts do now is to teach across the curriculum, taking every aspect of curriculum and bringing it in and tie it in through the arts. So arts plays a tremendous role.
And it seems like in tough economic times, and certainly Detroit Public Schools have had their challenges, as well as many other school systems throughout the region, it seems as though we go after the fine and performing arts first, that they seem to be the first thing axed and the first thing cut.
And that's very unfortunate, but the administration of President Obama, they're starting to look at that real closely, and he sees the benefits of trying to restore the arts programs throughout the United States in all the schools, in developing this creativity and the whole person, not just a part of the person. He recognizes science, math, and reading is very important, but his cabinet is also starting to recognize there's a void there, and the only way that void can be filled is through the arts.
Chacona, there has been distrust in people wanting to give money to Detroit Public Schools because they aren't sure that it's going to be used correctly. When the foundation has come along, you've been able to get around some of that because...
Well, because we're separate. We are not DPS, and we have a separate board. We also are 501c3, as I mentioned before, that has to fill out 990s and go through the IRS. And so we're governed by this body, and we have a very effective board. And the money that we raise will not go to reduce the deficit or DPS or to pay for previous things at DPS that need to be covered. we also can work with a donor who contributes to us, whether it's a foundation, corporation, or individual, and identify what they would like to fund, whether it's fine and performing arts or the sciences and math or college enrichment. We can actually work with them and say, this is what you want to see happen. Maybe you want it to happen in one school or not, and we will oversee that, provide them reports, and make sure their money is put to use in the way they would like to see it benefit the students of DPS.
Sure. You got a lot of money from, is it Sedesco?
Sedesco.
What's that going to be used for?
The very first thing we're using it for actually is to work with Mr. McAlister in the evening of fine and performing arts, which is coming up, and we'll let him speak to that. We've also helped it with some college prep and some combined courses that students at DPS are taking with Wayne County Community College. But Sedesco has a program that they do nationally of well-being for the student, and we are working with them collaboratively for the next 2 years to identify projects that will enhance DPS students' activities.
Okay. Alycia, the Chevy Volt played a role that turned out to help you in what you're trying to do, right?
Right. So the very first Chevy Volt that was available for sale was auctioned off to benefit the Detroit Public Schools Foundation for the specific purpose of STEM-related functions. And so in the math and sciences, we specifically benefited by sending kids to robotics tournaments, the Future City, Science Fair, chess, Science Bowl, and various other events that really were of great benefit to kids. So we are very thankful for that Chevy Volt that was auctioned off for the Detroit Public Schools Foundation.
Yeah.
I'd like to add that we've had these large corporations help us, but we've also had some medium-sized businesses and local businesses. Sun Valley Company, which is a food distributor, has helped with the Future Cities. Tools Construction is providing us funds. And we also have alumni giving gifts to the foundation. So there's a way for everyone to participate in helping making a difference in the lives of the students of Detroit Public Schools.
Talk about that for a moment and the role that alumni have played in trying to bring awareness to the foundation, as well as to what type of education a lot of people have received through the Detroit Public Schools. They're telling me I have to get to a commercial break. Think about that for just a second. When we come back, we'll pick up and we'll explore that and maybe explode some myths that exist out here. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Chacona, you've worked hard to try to get Detroit Public School alumni involved in the work that the foundation is trying to do. Have you had great success?
We've had some success. I, of course, want more.
Right.
And we're just getting
off.
It's never enough. It's never enough. And we're off to a good start. We have champions for the foundation. If you go to our website, DetroitPSFoundation.org, you can see videos from some famous alums, Regina Carter, a jazz artist, and also you will see David Allen Greer, who's a comedian and actor. So we're very excited that they're supporting the foundation. Additional, Regina Carter bought a brick from the old Cass High School. We have alums are taking a commemorative brick from the old building, and they can have their name and year of graduation on it, and that's available on our website. So we're very happy with that progress, but of course we want more. So all those DPS alums out there, go to our website and learn how you can help.
Okay, very good. Alycia and Willie, you're both graduates of Detroit Public Schools.
Yes.
Which ones, and what did it do for you?
Well, I'm a proud graduate of Renaissance High School in Detroit Public Schools, and I would tell this to anyone anywhere that my education at Renaissance High School prepared me extremely well for my time at the University of Michigan and for multiple things that I've done in my life. And so I'm so thankful and so happy to be partnering with the DPS Foundation so that other children who come through DPS can say the same thing.
Willie?
I'm a graduate of Northwestern High School, and Northwestern prepared me for a career in music. At the time I was a student at Northwestern High School, it was the Magnet School for the Arts. And I had the opportunity to work under some great conductors, and I had the opportunity to learn a lot of different things as it relates to music. Had the opportunity to perform in all state bands, honors bands, all city bands. give me the experience of being able to reproduce those things now with DPS. Also, the opportunity to travel. The first time I traveled outside the city of Detroit with the music organization was with Northwestern High School when we played for the Music Educators National Conference in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, back in 1973. Made a profound effect on me. I've always remembered that trip.
What do you all see as the future for Detroit Public Schools? What, certainly, we've had the stories about the challenges. We've had good stories, we've had bad stories, we've had a real mix. But in constant different leadership change throughout the years, and people have become, skittish, who've been around for a good little while. But there are also big boosters of Detroit Public Schools and great success stories that we oftentimes overlook. As you all look towards the future, what do you think is going to be going on with the DPS?
Well, I'm quite hopeful. I'm hopeful. I know there's a lot of administrative challenges, and Robert Bob has worked on that, and now Roy Roberts is coming in to work on that, and I think we're going to continue to see
if you
progress.
can send a message to Roy as he's coming in, who I know will be listening and seeking advice.
Absolutely,
what would it be?
and he is supportive of the foundation as Robert Bob was, and I will say work on all you have to work on there. We will be working at the foundation to bring people to help DPS to the table. There are internal things they have to deal with, there are government issues they have to deal with. We want to engage the community in playing their role. And we feel the foundation is a way that they can do that without being bothered with the bureaucracy of a very large urban district that has to change. And it's not just Detroit that has to change. Education in this country has to change. But I think we're all paying attention to it. There are a lot of people joining in. And the hope really lies in our students, in the DPS students. What keeps me going is you go in a classroom, you go to an event, and these are bright, talented people, young people at all levels, from pre-K all the way through 12th grade.
Just looking for an opportunity.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Alycia?
Well, one of my favorite quotes is from George Washington Carver, and it says, "Since new inventions are the product of a creative mind, we must therefore stimulate and encourage that type of mind in every way possible." And I feel that if we provide support in encouraging and stimulating creative minds, which the DPS Foundation is helping to do through the STEM and through the fine arts, that the future is bright. It is very bright.
Willie McAlister?
I like to quote Proverbs that says, "See a man diligent in his business, he should stand before kings and not mere men." And we're all about the business of diligence right now in the rebuilding. And if I just take a second to plug our Evening of Fine Arts that was mentioned earlier, June the 9th, our music departments, dance departments from Detroit Public Schools will present a fantastic show at the Fox Theater. And it's through the Sudeco Corporation that this is being made possible. And it's an event where people can pick up tickets from our site. They're free, but you need a ticket to get in.
And it's a great way to support DPS.
And you will see some phenomenal talent. Phenomenal talent.
All right. We need to rush to another commercial break. We'll hurry right back with some final questions and answers. We hope you stay with us. Willie McAlister, Alycia Meriwether, and Chacona Johnson, our guest today on Spotlight. Let me ask a question, and each of you can answer it from your own perspective. Say you've had no involvement whatsoever with Detroit Public Schools. You aren't a graduate, you don't live in the city of Detroit, but you care about kids, you care about education. What can an individual like that do to help you in your goals and your mission, your wish list?
That's a great question. They certainly can help by contributing, and we do have non-alum contributors. But additionally, DPS has the Reading Corps program, which the foundation has also supported. You know, there are thousands of people reading to young kids today through that program. Not everyone can take the time to read, but they may want to. We know that there are people who want to help, and many of those people are not DPS alums. So there's a way to help. If you care about education and care about the future, the foundation can assist in that, and to know you're doing something that will make our community better.
And know that your money is protected and it goes directly to the kids.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Alycia, what would you say?
Well, I think the first step is just to become knowledgeable about the great things that are happening, and then areas where we do have some gaps where we could use some assistance, and just the willingness to come alongside and to see that we're all connected in this. This is the United States of America. We are all Americans. We're Michiganders, Michiganians, whatever you want to call yourself, and we're Metro Detroiters. So we're connected in this, whether you're a DPS alum, a resident of Detroit or not. It really does not matter. We're connected as a people.
It's investing in the region.
It's investing in the region, and we need to see that as a worthy investment.
Yeah. You were telling me in the green room before we came out here about, I think, one of your chess teams. How successful have DPS chess teams been?
Oh, we have been extremely successful, and we're so proud of the chess teams that went to the national tournament and brought back a national title. So we have some fantastic chess folks out there. So if there's people who are interested in that and would like to even come to those chess practices and they enjoy playing chess, that would be another way. I mean, there's tons of ways you could help.
Willie McAlister, you get the last word.
Yes. As Alycia stated earlier, encourage people to find out what programs are really happening in Detroit Public Schools. And from a art side of it, if you're able to come in and you possess a certain level of proficiency to teach a master class, to do a private lessons with some of the students, that would be great. If you don't have the wherewithal to do that, financially, if you could pay for a master class or something like that, would be great. You know, we have DSO musicians who come in, Regina Carter comes in, other people from the city of Detroit that graduated, they come in and they work with students. So there are several ways in which they can get involved, but it's about making the commitment for time or financial.
All right. Main thing is that there are ways to help. Public can get involved on many different levels. All right. Long term, Detroit Public Schools Foundation, is there a goal out there you're shooting for that you haven't telegraphed to the world yet?
We haven't telegraphed, and we'll be doing a feasibility study in the coming year to see how much we can raise out of this community. I'm very proud that we've raised $3 million, but we should be able to triple that, you know, and actually have champions to bring more resources to our students.
All right, very good. Good luck with everything,
and
we'll be here to help if we can. All right.
Appreciate that very
Chacona
much.
Johnson, thank you so much from the Detroit Public Schools Foundation. Alycia Meriwether, thank you so much for joining us. And Willie McAlister, thank you for joining us. And good luck with all that all three of you are doing to give back to our kids.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we want to thank you at home for joining us. I'm Chuck Stokes. We'll be back next week with more newsmakers in the spotlight. We hope you have a great week.